Alright, this is page 229, number 25, and it's a two-part problem. We have a function here, a function g, and g of t means that t is the variable, so it's kind of like the x, and it's a rational expression, this function, and they want us to find the domain of the function, and the domain means all the values that t can be, and the zeros of the function mean basically the solutions, the values of t that make this whole thing equal to 0. So basically, for the domain, you want to focus on the denominator of the function to find the domain, and to find the zeros, we're going to focus on the numerator. So first thing to do is to factor this completely. So if I'm factoring the numerator here, this is going to factor to 2t here and a t, and for my 9, I'm going to go with 3 times 3. This is 6t and a 3t. I can use a positive 6t and a negative 3t to get my middle term of positive 3t. And then in my denominator, when I start off, if I pull out the t on this, the greatest common factor, I've got t squared minus 4, and that's going to factor to t plus 2 times t minus 2. So my denominator is going to be t times t plus 2 times t minus 2. Okay, so part A in this exercise says, name the domain of this function. So for the domain, focus on the denominator. Basically, what we do is we take the denominator and we set it to not equal 0, and now we say what values of t would make this equal to 0, and that would be a 0, a negative 2, and a positive 2. Because you can't have a denominator equal to 0. Of course, we can never divide by 0. It's undefined. So what we say is that t can be any number in here. You can put in any value for t except something that's going to make that denominator equal to 0, because that would make this whole expression undefined. So what we say for the domain is it's all real numbers except that t cannot be equal to 0, a negative 2, or a positive 2, because to plug any of those in for t would make that denominator equal to 0. So that's how we define the domain right here. Okay, for the zeros of the function, we focus on the numerator, because what we're asking is what value of t is going to make this whole fraction equal to 0. Well, it doesn't matter what the denominator is. If we make the numerator equal to 0, that makes the whole fraction equal to 0. So we focus on the numerator, and we focus on these two factors, and we say what value of t from those two factors will make one of those two factors 0. So it's going to be a 2 in the denominator and negative 3 in the numerator, or the whole thing is a negative 3. So the zeros of the function, being the values of t that make this whole thing equal to 0, are the values that make the numerator equal to 0 of negative 3 halves and negative 3. So that's how you find the domain of a function, and that's how you find the zeros of a function in these exercises.